Rosalina, you're coming with me.
I think it's kind of funny also. There was a moment in this movie
Yeah.
where Mario just said "Let's go," and I was
Yeah, there were a couple
"Whoa, whoa, whoa!"
there's like let's go
No, he
or
didn't even
like
say "Let's." He just said
or
"Let's go," and
let's go.
I was like, "Excuse me?" I was
Excuse
like, "Huh?
me.
Hold on. Rewind that in the theater." Like, that's kind of
What
funny because, like, you'd think that that would be the kind of thing Chris Pratt's like, "Let's go," and they're like, "Okay, cut. Hey, Chris, could we get a let's a go in
let's
there?
Let's go.
Maybe a wahoo while you're at it." He did do a couple okay
he
wahoos in
did
this
a
one.
few wahoos and I was like, it kind of works.
No, to be honest, I know Chris Pratt gets like, "Oh, Chris Pratt Mario," and I agree, but like, there's one Wahoo that he did where I was like, "That's good." I was like, "That's a good Wahoo." It's
I'm not
whenever
saying they weren't
like,
good. I'm
well, I
just
know,
saying
but like the
like
reaction, like, it works. There was one where I was like, "Yup," I was like, "Yup, there we go." But anyways, so we saw the Super Mario Galaxy movie yesterday at the time of recording this, and first things first, what are your general thoughts and feelings about this movie?
honestly, I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it at all. Like
Mhm.
I see all these critic reviews 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5,
Yeah,
2 out
2
of
out of
5,
5,
1 out of
yeah.
5, 3 out of 5, and it's on. Well, let's see what it's on right now.
It was pretty low.
Right now it's sitting at 43% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
I don't think it deserves 43%. I think the audience score, which is 91 right now, I think that's accurate. I would give it a 91. That's pretty accurate. I think if I knew nothing about Mario and was like rating it just as a movie, first off, I feel like it's like if you're watching this movie, you know what Mario is,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of have at least some idea of Nintendo and
Base level
Mario and
knowledge, yeah.
some base level knowledge, and that's who the movie's for. Not the people that have know nothing about video games
Yeah.
and have never don't even know what Mario is. Like that's not who this movie's for. Like even then, it's not below. I wouldn't rate it below 50.
No, yeah.
Like 43 is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And like kind of just going off of that for a little bit, like it is weird because the same exact thing happened with the last one, but it feels more like outrageous with this one with critic reviews where like for some reason like like critics just like really
Critics just
don't like
hate
Mario.
it so
I don't
much.
really get it, like especially it's one of those things like a big thing that I'm seeing coming up is like it's just a commercial. It's literally a commercial. But what's weird is that like first of all, I don't know if it's just because like I've loosened up over the. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever felt this way, but like it's one of those things that you kind of just have to accept. A movie like the Lego Movie is a commercial, but it's like an actually like fun movie that like I'm pretty sure it's in like the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes, and critics were like, "This is great." It's like a movie that's so clearly a commercial that's made to like okay buy toys, like they can still be a fun time at the movies, and
Yeah.
that's honestly what this movie was for me. It was just a fun time at the movies. It made me happy as a Mario fan. Like I have basically the same thoughts and feelings as I did on the as I do with the first one for this one. I do, but even still, like I have some issues that will, when we get into more specifics in a second. Like I have a few issues here and there where I'm like, this thing, I don't know, and I wish they did this thing, but even still, it's not, I'm not like, okay, I have this issue, therefore this is the death of cinema, like,
Yeah.
like I don't get it. I just feel like the outrage for it is kind of, it just feels forced and is similar to the last one. But even still, like I said, I have issues with it, but I still just had a good time, and it's all I really needed it to be.
Yeah.
So, anyways, getting into more specific things about the movie. So, Mario Galaxy movie. That's the main backdrop of this movie in particular. The first one was. It's kind of interesting because like the first one was just the Mario Bros movie, and it's kind of like they took from a lot of different Mario games, so it didn't really feel like, okay, we're doing this specific game
Yeah,
for this movie, and
I
it's
feel
sort
like
of the same for this.
I feel like the first one was more of like a less taking from games and more of like a kind of an original story to get their franchise going, you
Yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah. It was
Just
like the
like, oh,
origin of
Luigi
like,
gets
oh,
taken
here's
by
yeah, yeah.
Bowser, save him and everything, and Peach is like does everything basically. Not
Yeah,
really,
Peaches,
not
yeah. I
actually,
mean, basically.
but yeah, this one actually is more like, okay, this is kind of like it's still an original story, but it has more like
Yeah, more from
more
Mario
game lore, I
Galaxy.
think.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to say about that, just like with Galaxy being the backdrop, I love Mario Galaxy. I feel
Hmm.
like Mario Galaxy was definitely, and we played through Mario Galaxy the whole game. We made a video on that if you want to go check that out.
Yeah,
Um,
linked in the description
it was a
or
lot
on
of
the
fun to
title card
do.
at the end of the.
Yeah, the end of the video. And I think it's a really fun video. And that was definitely the one because and you, like, we both grew up like in the heyday of the Wii. So like
Yeah,
Mario Galaxy was definitely the Mario game that I played the most. So like I was like when they released the first trailer or like teaser for the movie, it was just like the reveal that it was Mario Galaxy, and like
yeah.
it's like going through all the things, and they're playing the Mario World theme, and you think like, oh, it's gonna be like the Mario World movie. Then it goes up to the sky, and it's like dun 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 dun, and I was like, oh my gosh, like so
Mario
like
Galaxy! Ah!
I was so excited for this to be Mario Galaxy, and with that being said, I loved that. I just had a really good time like hearing the music. First of all, the music is great, the animation is great, just to get the obvious ones out of the way. And with it being based on the Mario Galaxy movie, I will say like they like I agree with you in that it's like more of an original story because it's based on Mario Galaxy, but like it doesn't really in terms of like an adaptation of Mario Galaxy, it isn't really like it doesn't really adapt it fully. It really just goes in its own direction in a way
Yeah,
that was kind of interesting to me because like first of all, and this is a spoiler review, but like just to get into like the story of the movie, movie starts off Rosalina gets captured and she's the person that gets captured in this movie. Peach goes off to find Rosalina, and Mario and Luigi with Bowser and Yoshi with and Bowser Small go off to find Peach. So like you have a lot of different things going on, and that is which is what made it interesting because I was like, huh, they're not just doing the what Mario Galaxy did there because like Rosalina gets kidnapped by Bowser Jr., who's also in this movie, and I thought that Bowser Jr. was a really fun addition and villain for this movie.
I liked how they. Well, on one hand, I was like, because they did like this. Bowser's like, oh, I want to see my son again. Does he hate me? But
Yeah,
Bowser Jr. does like
didn't hate him at all.
didn't hate him at all. On one hand, I kind of was like, oh, I wish they would have made Bowser like, convince his son like, oh, being good's not so bad. Ha,
Yeah.
funny pun. But
That was pretty good. You're like
um
that's a freebie.
but
Illumination.
I mean they kind of took it in like, you know, Bowser becomes bad again, which it makes sense because what are they going to do? Make everybody good and then have to
Yeah,
come up with
another villain.
another villain.
This
Yeah.
isn't the Sonic movies.
This isn't the
Okay.
Sonic movies. Yeah, like
Which I love, by the way.
and I like the father son side of the story. That
Yeah,
was nice.
that was fun. I did like the random offhand lines of like of Bowser Jr. saying something clearly horrible, and then Bowser's like, "I am a good dad." Like actually, those actually got a
Yeah.
couple good laughs out of me.
Like he's actually a good dad though. Look,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
like that puppet show was crazy.
It was pretty good, yeah, every night as well, you told him
Yeah.
every night. But yeah, this movie, because like, it's kinda difficult to pick a place to start because, like, they do have a lot of different things going on in this movie. Because you have,
Yeah.
Bowser Jr., he wants to, like, get his dad back and, act out this plan that he and his dad always talked about to create Planet Bowser and you destroy the universe and whatever. So you have that, then you have Peach with her own drama with the big twist that we'll get into in a second whenever we before or after we talk about some other things, and you have Mario and Luigi. And I will say, like, again, I had such a fun time with this movie, but I did have some negatives. And like, one of the first things that I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of interesting, is that Mario and Luigi aren't really like, they weirdly kind of take a back seat in this movie because like they don't really they're just like following Peach and trying to find Peach, and because of that they're kind of just like along for the ride, and it kind of feels like
Yeah.
Peach has the main like drama character arc of this movie kind of.
Yeah.
Which was not a bad thing, but kind of like, okay, this is interesting for the Mario Galaxy movie. But Mario and Luigi are trying to find Peach, and Peach and Toad are going through trying to find Rosalina, which takes us to the Gateway Galaxy, which I thought, again, in the things that they changed from the game and everything, I thought that they were like fun additions, like making the Gateway Galaxy, which the Gateway Galaxy in the game is just like this small planet that you're on, and it has a little like building on it, and you talk to Rosalina for a second, like
Mhm.
and making it like the I guess just like a spaceport or something was a really fun idea, and you get a lot of
Yeah.
references in there. They even included the stupid monkey that takes Mario's hat in Mario 64. Whenever that monkey
Yeah.
came up to Toad, I was like, mm-mm. I was like, mm-mm.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
It's so funny because in Mario, I don't know if you remember in Mario 64, he takes your hat if you go near him, and if you get kicked out of the level, you still don't have your hat, so you have to get your hat back from the monkey,
What?
and the controls are so clunky that like and he jumps around, and he's so fast, and he's right next to a cliff, so like you just end up falling off all the time. Okay. Okay. Peach and Toad going to the Gateway Galaxy to find Rosalina had a lot of fun references there. And then they kind of go into, I don't even know where it was, but like they follow the monkey, and then they go to like this underground place, like underneath the Gateway Galaxy, which weirdly reminded me of like the ground level of Coruscant for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of had that vibe to it. I will say, like, this movie has a lot of like strong moments and like good sequences, but like I would say, like, if I'm getting like critical about it, like one thing that I'm kind of like that when I'm like thinking back on it, it kind of feels like there isn't a whole lot of like breathing room in the movie. It's kind of just like one big like action sequence after the other, because it kind of feels like they
Yeah.
show up at one place and they fight something or run away from something, and then they just keep going. And on one hand, it kept the movie moving, and it kept me like entertained. But like Peach follows them, they chase the monkey, and then they get down there and find Wart from Mario Bros 2 and Birdo and Mauser, and then like they fight all the little ninja guys, and then they leave, and then they cut to Mario and Luigi, and they're running away from some, like it kind of like, that's one criticism that I've seen that I felt too, that I kind of agree with, is that like it did kind of feel like a bunch of like sequences that were just pieced together to get from like it was sort of all over the place. I kind of felt, because like the first movie had much more of like a to B plot of like, okay,
Like a
look,
straight across story
yeah,
instead of
straight across
like
story.
a bunch of different yeah, it was a lot of like seemingly short snippets of one thing or another happening. Like specifically when I noticed it was like for most of it I was like, "Oh yeah, this is pretty awesome, whatever." But once they got to forget exactly what galaxy or whatever it was, but where they had the T-Rex from Mario Odyssey
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Cascade Kingdom. Baby Mario and baby Luigi and eventually baby Toad at the same time. I was like, "Oh shoot, is that going to be like a decent section of the movie, like at least like 15 minutes of them being babies, having to like get them back?" But it's just like, okay, just
It's one
get
scene.
the
Yeah.
the baby gun and
Yeah. Super scope.
yeah, it's like a really short scene. I was like, okay, that I like the references, like, oh
Yeah,
shoot, okay,
yeah.
baby Mario, baby Luigi, that's
Yoshi's
cool.
Island, get some Yoshi's
Yoshi's
Island
Island,
action.
and the T Rex. It ended pretty quickly, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, interesting,
that's
interesting.
yeah, that's pretty much that's it. That's also where I was like, okay, this kind of feels like, because that's another thing, is that like I feel like, funnily enough, like there was a couple of moments like that in this movie, like, and it's honestly my only like, this and another thing are my two negatives of the movie. Is that like, they turn Mario and Luigi into babies for, like you said, like one scene, and it kind of felt like, okay, we didn't really this movie didn't really didn't really need that. Like it gives you a scene of like Yoshi running around and like saving them, but it's like it's one of those things where I'm like, it kind of feels like they just wanted to be like, okay, here, let's get a Yoshi's Island reference in here and do that. But like, it didn't really like add anything to what was going on. It kind of just, well, I mean, I guess it was just like getting Mario and Luigi out of the way for one
Yeah.
scene and then whatever. But like that, and even like Mario and Luigi and Bowser at like the Honey Hive Kingdom, like they go there and then they're like, we need to, which I also felt this way about the first movie. It's that like it's, it's fine, but like the movie is so fast moving that it kind of feels like the story of it is like kind of on autopilot a little bit, because it's like they get to like the Honey Hive Honey Hive Galaxy, and they're like, you broke all our flowers, you have to get all the rubble out of here. And they're like,
Mhm.
we need to get here. No. And then Bowser's like, I'll stay for them. Then they're like, okay, moving on. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't really get a lot of time to like actually like deal with certain moments in a way that it feels like, because it's weird, because like on one hand, like I both agree and disagree with like critics who, because like when I'm talking like this I sound like, oh, you don't get character drama, and like I'm not asking for like a deep like, okay, we need like a 15-minute sequence of whatever, but it's just like, even if it was given a little bit more time to like kind of, because like in the first movie, if you remember, like Mario first meets Peach and he's like, I have to save my brother, and she's like, no, and he's like, please, and she's like, okay. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's the scene.
Well, take me with you.
This guy's a lunatic, a psycho.
But you were gonna help me find my brother. Please?
Well, okay.
Again, it keeps things moving, but it just makes it feel like very like, okay, we're just like moving on to the next thing, like whatever. I felt like there were some like sequences and ideas in this movie that like didn't really add much, other than just like, okay, this is a fun little action sequence that's probably cool in 3D. There were a couple moments like that, and it's partially because like the movie does try to put in a lot of Nintendo stuff. The whole casino scene where they have Wart there, and it's like all the villains from Mario 2, and it's kind of like, okay, well, we have to get, like, we skipped 30 years of Mario, so we have to get Mario Bros 2 in here. So
Yeah.
let's get all the bosses in the casino and have Peach fight them and whatever, and then moving on.
I don't think they were concerned at all with keeping it like chronological in terms of Mario
Oh,
games. They were
yeah,
just like,
no.
let's just throw everything in here.
Yeah,
Like
let's just do
anything
everything.
anybody thinks of, let's just throw it in. And we
Yeah,
still have like 20, 30 years of other stuff that we
that
could
we
just
can,
throw in
yeah.
the next movie.
There are a lot of sequences in this movie where I felt like they kind of moved along too fast, and like for the Mario Galaxy movie, I just feel like the thing that kind of frustrated me, because on one hand I'm like, okay, this is different, this is fun, but like I felt like Mario Galaxy has a really good like layout for a story that could have been really cool, because like Rosalina's in this movie, and like unfortunately Rosalina is the one that gets captured, and she's really not in this movie a whole lot, which is kind of like unfortunate, which because
Yeah.
like it's like it's Rosalina, you want to see Rosalina in the Mario
Mario
Galaxy movie,
Galaxy,
but
Rosalina, where was
but
Lubba at, bro?
yeah, what the heck. Bring Lubba
Lubba
in.
better be in the next movie because
Starship Mario, come on, let's do it.
Starship Mario, come on, like
But at the same time, Rosalina, it's funny because in Mario Galaxy, Rosalina doesn't really do anything either. She
yeah,
kind of is
it's
just
true.
standing there. But it's like she gets captured and she's really just out of the way for the movie because of that direction. And then like you have basically like 3, 4 different sides of characters doing different things. It did feel kind of messy, but Mario Galaxy, I felt like as a game, like it had like it gave them like a really good like layout for like a pretty linear story, that they could have taken liberties with and whatever. But like in my opinion, because they don't really want this version of Princess Peach to get captured or be in like much trouble that much at all. But like just imagining like a version of this movie where it's like, okay, opening can be the exact, or maybe not Rosalina getting captured, but like you know opening scene, you could have the same thing of like Mario and Luigi in the Sand Kingdom and finding Yoshi, and then they go to the Mushroom Kingdom and it's Peach's birthday or whatever. Then she gets captured. Mario, Luigi, Yoshi get blasted off into space. They get the Rosalina finds them in the Comet Observatory, and then it's like, we got to find Peach. Like that would have been like a very cool, like if they kind of played it more straight. I feel like it could have had a little bit tighter of a story, but
Yeah, I feel like it
regardless,
would have been a little bit more classic Mario.
yeah,
You know,
which I was kind of hoping, because also that what they do in this movie, they kind of, for some reason, and I say for some reason because it doesn't really like go anywhere. For some reason, they play on like Mario kind of liking Peach and Peach liking Mario, and Luigi's like, "Oh, do you like Peach?" And like I feel like if they kind of did the more classic Mario and just did that opening scene of Galaxy where it's like the Star Festival castle gets taken, which they do that, but it's not in the same context. But like they take the castle, then they could have had a little bit more of like, Mario's like, "Oh, I gotta save her," and then they could have their jokes of like, "Oh, do you love Peach? Oh no, she's my friend." Like they
yeah.
could have done that and have it had a little bit more of a payoff. But
Maybe
and
they're
then on
setting something up for the future.
maybe, let's hope.
I don't
Probably
have
not.
faith for them to do
Probably
that. But
Daisy's gonna get captured in
one
the
can
third
hope.
one. Spoilers.
Yeah,
Daisy's
spoiler.
at the end. I feel like they could have done that, and also what they could have done in addition to that, if they have Peach getting captured, but they still want to have Peach do cool hero stuff, is like give her what they give Peach in Paper Mario, and like have Peach have her own side of the story where she's kind of sneaking around Bowser's whatever, and sending messages to Mario and having like a little espionage action there. Like I
Yeah.
feel like they could have had it be a little bit more like straightforward versus just like a bunch of things kind of thrown together. But aside from all of that, I still think that this managed to be a really fun time. Nintendo fans are probably going to really enjoy it, and there's a lot of stuff to find. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that I missed in the background, but in terms of more obvious things, Fox McCloud is in this movie for a little bit, which was a really fun addition, and that I wish they didn't announce like a week before the movie came out. But you
Right.
can't you can't get everything you want. What did you think of Fox's role in this movie, and just the idea of adding extra like Nintendo IP in here?
Like at first when they kind of got to the Gateway Galaxy, I was like, I kind of saw it going into maybe a super like a Smash Bros type thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
but I'm glad they kept it tame and only
Mhm.
like because I didn't actually see Olimar, but I saw the Pikmin.
Yeah, I didn't see
Was
Olimar
he
either.
in? I didn't see him,
I
but
don't think he was in the ship. He might have been. I don't know. I didn't catch
but
it.
Pikmin, that's cool.
Yeah, fun
Simple,
little thing.
nothing crazy. Fox, a little bit more crazy, but he didn't like. He wasn't overly in the story. Like he was in the
Mhm.
story a decent bit, but it wasn't like I do like how they didn't make it like an issue,
Mhm.
like another plot point where it's Mario hates Fox and Fox hates
Yeah,
Mario
yeah,
for
yeah,
no
yeah.
reason. Like
Like the Toad and Yoshi thing.
yeah,
Yeah. Which isn't
yeah,
that big of a
that.
problem, but still it's like, it's there.
It's like, why does Toad hate Yoshi?
I get what you mean by that now, because it literally like Mario sees Fox and there's like the shot of like,
Yeah, they
ugh.
look at each other, and I'm like, please
Yeah, I'm
don't
like,
let
come
this be
on.
so annoying for like
The
a
last
solid
half of the
quarter of the
movie.
movie.
Yeah. And he's
But it
he's like,
was
I like
like
this guy, or whatever
it's
he
like
said.
he's like, nice ride. I like this guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, thank
Okay, thank
goodness,
you.
bro. Because that would have just added more conflict, which I don't know if it could be good, I guess, but at the same time, I'm like,
It would just be the
just
same thing as like
don't add more conflict.
Yeah, it would just be a repeat of like Mario and Donkey Kong in the last one, where it's just like, "Oh, I don't like you," like,
Yeah.
yeah. And Donkey Kong isn't in this movie either for some reason.
Yeah,
That's
I
kind of
just
interesting.
forget him.
But yeah, I agree with Fox.
Yeah, the 2D little snippet. I was like, yo,
That
this
was
guy,
fun. Yeah,
that's
that's
epic.
cool. Yeah, I did like how they kept it tame, even with like Rob too. Like like I was kind
Oh
of,
yeah, Rob, I forgot about that.
which
Forgot about Rob.
funny addition, and like they kept it tame. I was kind of expecting when I saw the poster, like I didn't think like, well, actually I don't know, I was kind of expecting like, okay, and then if you look in his like shirt pocket, you see the Smash Bros logo on an envelope, like I was kind of expecting them to be like, oh, Smash Bros guys, but like,
Yeah.
they kept it making sense in universe, where it's like, okay, it's a space. It isn't like they just threw in like, um I don't know, like ice climbers in here. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's a space movie. They need a pilot. Fox McCloud's a pilot. there.
It wasn't like, okay, Marth.
Yeah, Martha. Yeah.
I liked all the like obviously it's like playing to the fans, whatever, but I liked all the like semi niche references. Like for anyone who knows like Mario and Nintendo kind of stuff, it's not really niche, but it's like the certain things like Neo Bowser City or like something of the like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I assume that that's kind of what they were portraying there, or like the T-Rex or the dragon from Mario
Yeah, from
Odyssey
Odyssey,
that
Mr.
they
Game and Watch.
implemented. Mr. Game and Watch.
That actually got me like, oh, because they didn't announce that, which I thought was
Yeah,
funny. Yeah, but yeah,
that's the
I
only one
agree.
that actually
Yeah.
surprised you.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, literally. Pikmin, they released in some like promotional thing of like showing all the characters. Rob, they showed. It's funny, like they had like a promotional website for the movie because they had that for the last movie a couple years back. They had like the Mario Bros. Plumbing website, and it was like text this number and you can get updates and whatever. And I was like, sure, why not? I think if you called the number, it was Luigi, and he was like, Super Mario Brothers or whatever. And they updated that. So like 3 years later, I got a text from the number, and it was like Gateway Galaxy, and I was like, oh, cool, they brought back the number. And I click on it, and it's like a clip of Peach and Toad at the Gateway Galaxy, and I'm like, cool, this is cool. And then at the end, Rob is talking to him, and I was like, oh, I was like, I kind of would have liked to have seen that.
spoiled.
I am Rob.
Rob, Pikmin, and Fox were revealed before, so Mr. Game and Watch and Daisy, but like she's like there for 2 seconds. But Mr. Game and Watch was like the only surprise of the movie, which was kind of funny. A lot of people, yeah, even me, like I do agree that like some of the references that they did and like sequences which were basically there just to reference something, like I get it. It kind of feels like they're like, oh, look at this, but like as a big fan. Again, like I told you this, like when Peach and Toad first go on the launch star, first of all, the animation for the whole thing is beautiful, so I'm already like, oh. But whenever they go on the
Yeah.
launch star and it's the sound effect, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is so good. I was like so excited. So like as a fan who played Mario Galaxy and a bunch of these games growing up for hours on end, to the point where like when I was a kid, I would literally just play Mario Galaxy. I would go in a mission like in like Beach Bowl Galaxy and just run around. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even get the star. I'd just be like, wow, I'm swimming. This is so cool.
The stuff you do as a kid.
Yeah, hours of entertainment just doing
Just
nothing in a
around.
game. So like I obviously enjoyed a lot of that, but I do, I can't agree that like some of the references were like, okay, this is just here just to reference something. But I did think that there were cool moments where they were obviously playing to the fans, like you said, and playing to like, okay, we're referencing something that they actually did, like they did in an interesting way, like towards the end when Mario and Peach are going through like the Bowser's Castle obstacle course that cuts back to Bowser Jr. playing it like a video game. Like,
Yeah.
I thought like, oh, this is a fun way to do like, have the video game reference and do it in a way where it's like, okay, we're getting the 8-bit sprites in there and all
the
that
2D
uh
references.
2D
and
side
stuff.
scrolling stuff, like a lot of fun stuff there. And this is kind of bringing us to the final act of this movie, where they're on Planet Bowser. They got to stop Bowser Jr. and Bowser. Around this portion of the movie, we kind of like there's a big reveal about Rosalina and Peach, and that is that they are actually sisters, which was kind of and that was another big surprise in the movie, because I actually didn't have that spoiled for me, but Peach and Rosalina are sisters in this movie, which it was interesting because they're not in the game. So I was like, okay, this is an interesting twist because like they straight up say like they were born from the cosmos. And I was like,
That's like,
what?
whoa, what?
I was like, this is kind of crazy to
Rosalina,
just drop on us.
Sure, okay. Peach, really?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I
it's
was kind of like,
this another thing is I was thinking like, yo, is this lore that they're like establishing right now, or
yeah, are they gonna
just
make
kind of
this
doing
canon?
this for the movie?
I kind of hope it's, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I kind of hope it's for the movie.
Yeah.
But the thing that kind of going back to like Mario Galaxy giving them like a really nice opportunity or for like a more linear classic Mario story, I feel like Rosalina in her storybook, which by the way, we also have a video of us reading Rosalina's storybook.
Don't turn the volume up too loud.
Rosalina's storybook, she has a good backstory that they kind of just like don't really go into, which kind of I wasn't expecting them to just do the full out like storybook, but just being like, okay, they were born from the cosmos instead of like Rosalina, like her mother being dead and her just running away from her family with the Luma. Like that could have been like a pretty cool like backstory to include, and also like
Yeah.
it could have like given the movie a more of like a just a little bit more of like a serious tinge to it where it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, Rosaline, like you know how like when you're a kid and you watched like Monsters Inc. and then like the sad part would come along and you'd be like, oh, this is sad. Like as a kid, you're like crying. You're like, oh man, why am I like a movie made you cry for the first time with like a Pixar movie or something? You know, like
Low
they
key,
could have like
Monsters Inc. was intense.
it was
As a
pretty
child,
intense.
like
Yeah.
whoa, like
Right out of the gates, it opens up like it gets like silly, but it has like a couple minutes of like, oh, this is kind of this is kind of intense. Monsters Inc. review coming out soon. I feel like they could have like there were a couple of moments in this movie where I felt like they could have like had a more like serious, like I said, like serious tinge to it. And changing Rosalina's backstory kind of was one of those moments where I was like, oh, you could have had something there, but they changed it. But with that being said, like, you know, having it be like Rosalina and had to like abandon Peach, it's a little bit of like, oh, that's sad, but like they don't there's not really much that they delve into there. I don't know. I was kind of I was okay with that twist, but still that's a pretty big revelation. But anyways, towards the, you know, the final act of this movie, you get all the cool action, Mario and Luigi fighting Bowser and Bowser Jr. and Bowser. You've played this game. I actually haven't played this game. Was the purple paint stuff, was that from Wonder?
no, I think actually the paint Bowser Jr. with the paintbrush.
That was Mario
I think
Sunshine.
that's Bowser's Fury.
Bowser's Fury. Okay. I know he had the paintbrush in Sunshine, but like the paint stuff and him getting all like fiery and stuff, that was
Yeah,
yeah, that was
I don't know if
Bowser's Fury.
that's from my knowledge. I don't think that has anything to do with Wonder. Wonder
Okay.
was like a whole separate thing, and I think I didn't actually finish it, but I think Bowser's the like main guy.
Yeah.
Bowser Fury is what I would guess because I think he has a paintbrush in that, but I also think that it might just be a movie thing.
They, you know, they're fighting, they're using items, it's cool. They did use flying Mario, which I thought was cool. Oh, also a thing that I feel like we just skipped over. They actually again, there were moments of this movie where I was like, okay, this is pretty good. This is something. It's like they actually had Bowser like kind of die and come back as like dry Bowser,
Yeah,
which was I was like, whoa, I did not think they would go there because like him falling into the lava, that is another moment where I was like, okay, this is like that's
that
kind of
was
intense for the Mario
I mean that was
movie.
surprising. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it.
But they did have moments like that where like as I'm watching it, like it's the shot of like his hand in the lava. I'm like, whoa. And then
Yeah,
I was like, do it. Dry Bowser, dry Bowser, dry Bowser. And then like the
yeah.
hand comes up. I was like, yes.
I mean, Bowser's been dropped in lava so many times.
Yeah.
Like,
He's you can't kill him
yeah,
at this point.
I don't know. I don't know how it makes sense, but
They're all fighting each other. Bowser's turned back to the dark side. Luigi paints Mr. Game and Watch. There's a dragon. Mario saves Bowser Jr., which proves that the Mario Bros are, you know, they're not so bad after all. Day is saved. Everything's great. And Mario, they rebuild the castle and, you know, all is well. And that's Super Mario Galaxy movie pretty much. All in all, again, I had negatives with the movie and things that I kind of wish that they did and differently, and or just things that I wish that they included. But it's the Mario Galaxy movie. I watched it, I heard the music, and was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy!" Like that's all I needed it to be, honestly. And I'm probably gonna end up seeing it again in theaters. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be
right.
real.
I agree. I mean, I enjoyed it, and it was perfectly fine. I mean, I feel like that about a lot of movies.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like it wasn't so bad that I can hate it at all.
No, yeah.
Even the small things like not the strongest story ever. It's like I don't really care. I saw what I was expecting to see, and it was great. So 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 time.
Pretty much.
I'd give it 10 out of 10 from audience, from like personal, like I had fun
With nostalgia points.
with nostalgia points, but like a realistic like 7.5 out of 10 maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Either way, had a good time, had a lot of fun, and you know,
If you like Nintendo,
if you like Nintendo, if
love
you like
this
Mario,
movie.
you're gonna have a fun time. It's a good theater movie, I feel.
Yeah.
I saw it at 11 in the morning, so
Yeah.
I didn't really have a packed audience, but I imagine with like a packed crowd, it'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's the Mario Galaxy movie. Thanks for watching, guys.
Check out the playthrough.
Okay, stupid monkey.